Good morning, everybody. You know, we all have that feeling that we're about ready to poke the proverbial hornet's nest. Well, that's what I'm going to be doing today. A couple days ago on Facebook, I was, going through some comments, and there was a comment about the difference between New Age and paganism. And I knew that there were some differences and all that. And then a joke was told. I looked at the joke, it chuckled a little bit, and made me curious. And so I did some research. And so what I have done is I have saved a few sites on my favorites, and I'm going to read them off word for word. And then I'm going to make some comments about certain segments because they reverberate everything that I have been standing for years. And, so that's a pretty amazing thing to think about. There are some very important topics that need to be discussed. And so, this is not meant to attack Wicca, but unfortunately it is. I have been trying to develop a more peaceful relationship and understanding with Wicca. And like I said, all of my fears came true. Wicca is not paganism. So I have to admit that I'm wrong first. When I first started off in my pagan path, there was some confusion and all that. I was learning, and I was told by a couple wonderful ladies that all Wiccans are pagans, but not all pagans are Wiccans. It's wrong. Not a damn Wiccan is pagan, because Wicca is New Age, and New Age isn't Wicca. I mean, New Age isn't paganism. There is levels of animosity between the New Age society and the pagan society. New Age is all about love, life, UFO cults, and paganism is old school. We're a little bit darker, and they don't like the darkness of us old schoolers. And so, New Agers reject us. So, Wicca is not pagan. Let's start the journey. Okay? Alright, now before we start, cut. Before we start in discussing the differences, I do want to define what New Age is. Now, it is actually pretty good definition, even though it comes from Wikipedia. Alright. The New Age is a term applied to a range of spiritual or religious beliefs and practices that developed in Western nations during the 1970s. Precise scholarly definitions of the movement differ in their emphasis, largely as a result to the highly eclectic structure. Although analytically often considered to be religious, those involved in it typically prefer the designation of spiritual and rarely use the term New Age themselves. Many scholars of the subject refer to this as the New Age movement, although others contest this term, believing that it gives a false sense of homogeneity to the phenomenon. As a form of Western esotericism, the New Age movement drew heavily upon the number of older esoteric traditions, in particular those that emerged from the occultist current that developed in the 18th century. Such predominant cultural occult influences include the work of Emanuel Swedenborg and Franz Mesner, as well as ideas of spiritualism, New Thought, and the Theosophical Society. A number of mid-20th century influences, such as the UFO religions of the 1950s and counterculture of the 1960s, and the human potential movement, also exerted a strong influence on the early development of the New Age movement. Although the exact origins of the movement remain contested, it is agreed that it developed in the 1970s. Now, the first one, it goes, it seems like some of paganism has become sort of fluffy with New Age belief. Also, New Age beliefs seem to be pretty much derived from pagan thought. That's just looking at it from the surface, though. What do you think? Well, my opinion here is that these two different systems do overlap. They do share many strong similarities. However, it is the differences that are key. And so I'm going to scroll down and read some of the comments on this. And New Age seems to be the belief that everything in the universe is connected as a part of the deity whole. Paganism is that while deity may be in people and rocks and trees and whatever, deity is still separate. Okay, wow, I don't think that makes sense, but it makes sense to me. To me, it seems like Wicca is talking about everything is the same thing, connected, paradigm shifts and UFOs and all that stuff, whereas paganism is seeing how we're connected, but we're separate. Everything has uniqueness, but is connected. A little bit further down, okay, and this is the part where it gets kind of interesting. New Age has become anything paranormal beliefs, to include but not limited to crystals, seances, ghosts, werewolves, fairies, spirits, vampires, psychics, and divination, astrology, spiritual healing, hypnosis, tarot, past life, regression, yoga, meditation, tantra, energy, chi, Atlantis, aliens, feng shui, parapsychology, mind over matter, spells, basically anything to do with the occult or mysticism. Paganism is any kind of earth-based, nature-worshipping, non-Abrahamic religion, predominantly, but this is now wrong, predominantly Wicca and Druidism, but often including Native American beliefs on their shelves too. That part right there is the problem. This is why I don't think Wicca should be considered pagan anymore, is that, and this will be stated in other areas, Wicca just grabs from anybody and everywhere. Or at least Druidism sticks with the Celts. Alright. I think given the modern origins and or revival of paganism with Leland, Murray, Gardner, Crowley, Valente, Sanders, and others, it's not surprising that so much New Age or occult or magical thinking and practice are associated with paganism today. A lot of these originators or revivalists of the ancient European earth religions were heavily influenced by the occult movements of their time, like the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, Freemasonry, Kabbalah, and newly revealed research into mystery cults of Rome and Greece. These people loved ceremonial magic, the elaborate rites and rituals, dressing up, and the required tools to execute their craft. The occult, the New Age practices and beliefs, were virtually inseparable from honoring and celebrating the earth, God, goddess, and divinity within. I do think So much of New Age movement today has been warped and corrupted by commercialism that has had a negative impact upon the pagan community. I feel like too many individuals are drawn to paganism not out of a true reverence for nature and the god and goddess, but because they are primarily interested in buying and selling magical items, spell books, cool looking ornaments to go on their altars. They have little or no interest in the spirituality, ethics, and theology of an earth-based religion. A lot of the New Age writers and businesses continue to feed off the so-called poor people's gullibility and desire for acceptance that they sell them anything and call it a religion. The last part is important right there, because there are a lot of people that sell anything and everything. I've even made videos about this in the past. They talk about tarot decks. Well, we got oracle decks now. It's just terrible. And on to the next one. What is the difference between New Age and Neo-Paganism? I assume that they are very similar, but yet have some slight differences. What are the slight differences? Okay. What was related as the best answer? I have spent the first 25 years of my life practicing a New Age philosophy and the last almost 20 years with a neo-pagan path. They are different, but they can easily overlap. You can find frauds as well as sincere people in both paths. Both of the terms New Age and Neo-Paganism are umbrella terms covering a variety of beliefs and practices. Neo-Paganism is an umbrella term for various religions, whereas New Age is an umbrella term for various beliefs and practices, which may or may not include concepts of the gods and God force. You can see it would be impossible to judge all New Agers or all new Neo-Pagans, since their beliefs and practices vary widely. Plus, there are many people like me who follow a Neo-Pagan path, but we believe in New Age practices such as channeling, divination, astrology, and or the energies within different stones and crystals. Okay. Next one. In my opinion, they are very different. New Age is not so much about religion. Neo-Paganism is mostly about religion. Most New Agers around these parts don't think of themselves as pagans. Same with spiritualists. As an example, the pagans around here have been denied vendor space and not allowed to set up tables for tarot readings at New Age psychic fairs because we are witches. As I said, there is actual dislike between New Agers and pagans. Another big difference is the New Age movement will charge you for every little bit of knowledge they give you. Many of the providers of this information don't know much more about things than you or I do, but they package it so cunningly. Students may end up paying $200 for a one-day workshop. They could get the same information from most pagans for free in a teacher's basement or study group. So I think in this way, the main focus in paganism is religion, while the main focus in New Age is money. Oh, when I first read this, man, I was going, that's what I've been thinking about for years. Good Lord.